On this edition of Mississippi Roads, we're heading outdoors in the city of Flowood, which offers some of the best outdoor activities around. Then we'll head down to a ropes course near Florence that builds both muscles and confidence. We'll take a look in the rearview mirror at a story on the Great Mississippi River Balloon Race in Natchez. We'll visit with some young BMX cycling enthusiasts in Ridgeland, and then float down the Mississippi River with Quapaw Canoe Company.
Support for the arts segment of Mississippi Roads comes from the Mississippi Arts Commission, whose mission is to be a catalyst for the arts and creativity in Mississippi. Information available at www.arts.ms.gov.
Mississippi Roads is made possible in part by the generous support of viewers like you. Thank you.
Down Mississippi Road.
Hi, welcome back to Mississippi Roads. I'm your host, Walt Grayson. This week we're coming to you from Winter Circle Park in Flowood. You know, Mississippi has a lot of outdoor recreation facilities, and Flowood offers a lot of opportunities for families. Now, a lot of people my age remember not too long ago when this area just out to the east of Jackson was way out in the country, and nothing but cow pastures and trees. But Flowood has experienced tremendous growth over the past 25 years and is now, among other things, home to some of the best shopping in central Mississippi. And along with all that growth, they've been able to provide some wonderful facilities for the community. This 5-acre playground, for example, is state-of-the-art. And you can tell by just looking at it that it's a wonderland for kids. And one of the best features, especially on a day like today, is that it's in the shade. But a great place for the young and young at heart. Now, if you're up for some more intense outdoor recreation, there's camps all over the state that exercise both the body and the mind. And probably nothing does that better than a ropes course. Let's go check one out down in Florence.
No, it's then accurate.
On zip. Zip on.
And with that, our adventure begins. Nestled deep in the woods of Florence, Mississippi, we came across the Twin Lakes Conference Center.
Twin Lakes is a camp and conference center that is owned by First Presbyterian Church of Jackson, Mississippi. It's been in existence since 1970. We really have two programs out here. One is our summer camp program, for which 2 months out of the year we operate as a summer camp for kids ages 6 to 12. And we also are a conference center, which we host a number of guest groups that come out here about 10 months out of the year. During our conference season, we utilize various aspects of our campus. We have a disc golf course, which features 9 holes that are right near the entrance to our facilities. We have a waterfront area that has canoes, and we have a ropes course in which people can come and rent our facilities and enjoy time either on our high course or our low course challenge. Our ropes course features on our high ropes course a rock climbing wall, which is actually included into our advanced ropes course.
And that's where we find our victims, volunteers for today. Rena Whiteley and her brother, Dylan Durr.
I wanted to try something adventurous, and I felt like that would be a good experience for me. I'd been wanting to do zip lining for a really long time.
I decided to run the ropes course because it sounded like fun, and I wanted to do something pretty cool with my sister.
The rope ladder is the beginning of our advanced high ropes section, and it is a fairly challenging element. It is a rope ladder that is let down from one of our main starting places, and the participant must actually climb up that ladder on a dynamic belay and travel up roughly about 35 feet in the air to get to the top. It is a great starting place because it demonstrates the challenge of our ropes course and allows the participant to be able to see sort of what they're in store for the rest of the course.
I just liked the rope ladder in the beginning. It took forever to get up to the top.
Our catwalk is basically a telephone pole that is strung up between two different trees. It serves as a bridge between our rope ladder and our third element in our advanced ropes course, which is the medicine man. And it allows the participants to learn how to balance as they walk across, as they go from one element to another. Our course is really set up as a circuit course, which means that there are no independent elements. You can't just go up and then come back down. Once you start an element, you keep continually going through consecutively, element by element.
All right, you're now attached to Roxanne.
The medicine man is kind of a pseudo zip line where the participant must kind of take a step and a leap of faith out from the platform with really no cables below them. And they zip out just a little bit into the air, and then they must grab a rope that is next to them and pull their way across to the final platform. Our multi-vine traverse, we like to call our spooky Tarzan, is a one-line cable, and above you is a cable with multiple ropes hanging down. And as you walk across the single cable, you move from vine to vine as you try to balance your way from the platform all the way to the rock climbing tower, to our 40-foot portion of that tower. The Granddaddy zip line starts at the very, very top of our rock climbing tower, which is roughly about 52 feet in the air. The zip line is roughly 580 feet long and moves from the top of the tower through the trees all the way to a midpoint in which they are taken off zip and
Put your foot back in the ladder and
lowered safely to the ground.
I loved that one. That was my favorite part of the whole rope course, and it was a fun experience for me. I'm very proud of Rena. She's very shy, and it has helped her come out of her shell. My son, he wants to join the military, and this is a great opportunity for him to experience some of the things that they do in the military, and I'm just so proud of both of them.
With the course complete and the kids safely on the ground, we bid farewell to the Twin Lakes Advanced Ropes course. Next time I might even try the zip line, just as soon as I find some Dramamine. Right next to Winter Circle Park in Flowood, you'll find a beautiful walking trail through a 40-acre nature park. The trail weaves through a mature hardwood forest with markers for native trees and plants, so it's a good place to learn about nature too. On any given day, you'll see walkers and picnickers or people just enjoying nature. Now, in our next segment, we're going to take a look at nature from an entirely different perspective, from the air. And to do that, let's go to Natchez and take a peek in the rearview mirror at a story that first aired in 2007. Come sail away in the sky. That's exactly what balloon pilots from around the country do every October for 3 days in the town of Natchez at the Great Mississippi River Balloon Race. It had humble beginnings, but boy, has it grown over the years.
It began with some balloon enthusiasts that are local, James Biglane and Cappy Stallman. They both own balloons and would go to different events across the country, and they got together and decided, why should Natchez not have one of these and bring the balloonists to Natchez? So they got together with Ron Riches, a local owner of Monmouth, Antebellum Home and Bed and Breakfast, and they formed the race, and it benefits the Historic Natchez Foundation. And it has grown tremendously since that first year. I think we had maybe 10 or 12 balloons, and this year we're expecting about 57.
I flew here in 1991 the first time. When Jim Biglane was one of the organizers, I was editor of Balloon Life magazine at the time, and he flew me out here, and another gentleman loaned me a balloon, and Cappy Stallman loaned me a chase truck and a crew, and that was my first time. And then I missed the next year because I still lived in California in 1992. I moved back to my home state of Texas in '93, and I've been coming every year since. And with the same crew, the family that crewed for me that live here in Vidalia, we've become great friends. We've gone on vacations together. They've gone to Mexico to balloon rallies with me flying down there. And so it's become almost like a family reunion for me to come back and see the family that crews for me. And we look forward to coming back every year. Wouldn't miss it.
Mix in the history, the great food and lodging, and you have a top-notch balloon festival. There's a whole lot more.
We have music all weekend long. We have regional food booths. We have a small carnival for the children right outside of our gate, but it's also included within our realm of events. On Friday night, we bring as many balloons as will fit on our site, and they glow right there among the people. They spread out, the people can see up close exactly how it all works. Unfolding the balloon, inflating, hooking it up, and then again packing it all back up. So that's always a big pleaser.
The entire city of Natchez benefits from the Great Mississippi River Balloon Race.
Well, it's a huge shot in the arm for our economy. The hotels and restaurants and lounges and things are just filled to the brim over the whole weekend. Many homecomings of schools planted on this weekend, and families, family members come in from all around the country, and children have grown up with the races and now live elsewhere and have their own families, and many of them plan on coming home for the weekend. It's a big homecoming of sorts.
This morning we launched near the courthouse in Vidalia, and our target is out and ahead of us. You can just see that red balloon in the haze there. The target is at the airport, the Concordia Airport. So our object is to try and fly from the courthouse where we chose to launch to the airport. When we get close, you'll see a large X on the ground. That's the target. We have a little bean bag here, this little baggie right here with my name on it. And the plan is to try and drop that as close to that X as we can. And then we score by measuring the distance, how close from the center of the target you are out. And he who gets the most points wins.
They love the hospitality that is exuded here in Natchez, and the pilots compete among themselves for spots in our race. Of course, we can only have so many sponsor-wise and room-wise, and pilots who come just love coming here. They talk about it at other races across the country, and our waiting list is great.
Ballooning is a very social sport. As you saw, I can't do this by myself. I own the balloon and fly it as a private individual, but I have to have that group of friends, my crew, who come out and help me. And so for every balloon, there's about 5 to 6 or 7 or 8 people attached to that balloon, and it is a very social group. A lot of us travel around the country or region from different rallies, and so we're kind of like a traveling circus in a lot of ways, flying circus, if you will. And everybody are great friends, and it's like I said, a traveling family reunion. Almost every weekend we're in a different city, but with the same group of folks. The most attractive thing about this race is flying across the Mississippi, which we're not doing this morning, but throughout the weekend we will. Flying across that river is pretty awesome. I remember the first time I did it here many years ago in the early 90s, and I thought, oh my God, I'm flying a balloon across the Mississippi River. And then there's the hospitality of the people in the community, both here in Vidalia and on the other side of the river in Natchez. The people just love to see the balloons. They treat us like we're almost like kings when we come to town, and it's a great flying area. There's lots of wide open area. It's a challenging area because of the river, because it's so heavily wooded on the Natchez side of the river, yet wide open here on the Louisiana side. So there's some challenge to flying. The winds a lot of times are very much up and down the river, so there's the challenge to be able to make sure you can get back to dry land. So it's a challenging place to fly, which pilots like, and it's a really beautiful place to fly.
There's one word that drives this annual event year after year.
Volunteerism. I just have to say it right out. I'm on the committee and have been for 17 years or so, and there are about 12 of us on the committee, but by far, that's not the only volunteers. We have hundreds of members who come help crew the balloons over the weekend, volunteers in every stage, just all around the city. It's the biggest weekend event in Natchez every year.
The history of the city of Flowood starts back about 1951. That's when some folks got together and decided they'd like to establish a city on the banks of the Pearl River. And city engineer and mayor Chastain Flint, who served the city for 36 years, by the way, had a vision for the area that he managed to implement before he retired in 1989. And as you can see, that plan seems to be working pretty well. Despite early setbacks due to flooding along the Pearl River, the city has continued to flourish. In our next story, we're going to travel just right up the road to the city of Ridgeland for another family-oriented outdoor activity. This one's designed especially for kids who have a need for speed.
Getting out here and riding the track is like a whole different world, and it just feels like, I mean, when you hit a ramp or something, it just feels like flying, and it's just, I just love it.
When you're racing, there is no strategy. There isn't, you just go. You can think out a strategy all you want, but once you get on that track, everything changes.
With our sport, absolutely nobody sits on the bench.
I think that anybody can do it. Doesn't matter how old you are, if you've never even gotten on a bike before, this is a good place to learn.
We have everywhere from 2 years old to about 46 years old racing at our track. If you've never really been into team sports, this is the sport for you. I mean, because it's all about you and how you do with the bicycle and how well you perform.
You know, I think everybody can relate to riding a bike, I guess, and of all ages, and you obviously see all ages out here competing. When I heard about this, going on, I'd say 5 years ago maybe, when the track was fairly new, and he was on a little strider, a little push bike. You know, I wanted to bring him out and check it out, and we started coming and watching the races, and we took the training wheels off out here when he was about 4, and he learned to ride out here and has been racing pretty much ever since then.
This is not a dangerous sport. Our kids wear full gear. Everything, the requirements to be able to ride out on the track is elbows covered, knees covered, head covered. It's probably less dangerous than football or anything else. When you put yourself into a race situation, you're running faster, you're running harder, and you're running with more people. So we ask the kids to wear full face helmets.
If you're interested in bike racing, for the young ones, mountain biking and road racing is a little more involved with the gearing and everything else. This is simple single speed. It's really the only really racing format, bicycle racing format for people probably junior high age and younger.
I like riding bikes out here because it's really fun, and I like the race. It's pretty cool.
It is a great family-oriented sport. When I took the track over 2.5 years ago, we had 34 riders in the entire state of Mississippi. Right now, I've got about 96.
Well, it's a fun sport just to ride bikes, and it's really a cool activity.
Back here in Flowood's Nature Park, they have this outdoor classroom overlooking the pond. It's a place where kids can come learn about nature, up close and personal. But not just that, there are all kinds of community events that happen here. And if nature's not your thing, you can always head inside to the Flowood Library right next door. Well, in our next segment, we're going to leave the comfort of Flowood's parks and head over to the mighty Mississippi River, where Quapaw Canoe Company gives guided tours and takes adventuresome folks for a nice ride on the river.
Back 100 years, I can see the ghost of Mark Twain as the night draws near. Damn you, old man, you looking right into the belly of the beast.
This song, Muddy Water, written and performed by John Mohead, was based loosely on the exploits of John Rusky. Rusky and a high school friend spent 5 months on a raft traveling down the Mississippi River. Their journey was filled with numerous ups and downs and even a few close calls with death.
Stronger, I'm crossing over Jordan. Muddy water is my name. Muddy water is my name.
Well, on the first day out, we forced the tugboat to go aground. We almost got swept through a lock and dam near Clinton, Iowa. And we hit a TVA tower south of Memphis. We were in a raft that's basically unmaneuverable in the river. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. I'd recommend a canoe.
After his river journey, the muddy water continued to pump through Rusky's veins, so he decided to settle in Clarksdale and eventually opened Quapaw Canoe Company.
Well, it's customized guided expeditions on the Mississippi by canoe. We'll take one person out, we'll take 15. It's a wilderness expedition in that this environment here is not controllable by man. Man attempts to control it, and Army Corps of Engineers has done a good job of maintaining the channel, but it's still the territory of the river. When it floods, no one has control out here. If someone happens to go overboard, grab onto this loop. And throw the bag like this. Throw the bag, not the loop. And it's something like a line that floats in the water and pull the person back to the canoe. There's about 75 feet of line in here. There's also that ring there, which is not tied down. It just sits there loose, and that can also be thrown to a person.
Back and forth.
So the ladybug is quite stable. If you can get up and stand up and move from side to side. A lot of people are terrified of the river. But I can't say that's a misconception because there have been a lot of deaths out here, and it's claimed a lot of lives. The misconception is, though, that it's not canoeable. Now that's a big misconception. Where there's a break in the shore or a dike or something like that, you often get these big eddies forming. And there's always an eddy right here. Doesn't matter what the river level is, but sometimes it spins one way, sometimes it spins the other. It's a deceptive river because there are places that it looks so calm and you would think that you're just floating on the stereotypical old man river, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a dike or with a tugboat headed your way and the current's pushing you into the tugboat. So I don't recommend it to the uninitiated, but I do recommend that anyone who has a canoe try one of the backwaters or one of the bayous that touches the river and come to know the river, and with some experience or time, or to come to Quapaw Canoe Company and I'll show you firsthand, you know, what to look out for.
Muddy water is my name. Muddy water is my name.
I get a chance to come out here, and it's like taking a mini vacation. You go away and you don't have to worry about where you have to be the next day or the next minute or what you have to do, you know. And that gives your body a chance to regroup and rebuild itself, gives your mind a chance to see clearly. And that's something that you always dream about doing, but you never do, because the world is a fast pace and everybody has to be on a schedule, and we forget to appreciate what we have. Being with John, it's like a slower pace. You're getting there, but you got more therapeutic stuff going on when you come out here. It gives your mind a chance to think. You're not going so fast that you can't focus on your next move.
I I want them to have a good time, basically. I wanted to provide the means to see this wonderful landscape that's tucked away here in the heart of America, and to enjoy themselves, to have good food, to not go hungry, and enjoy the river, to come away with a new appreciation for this river in particular, and the places in the heart of this country that are beautiful and special places. Yep, it's one of the great rivers of the world. It's the largest river on this continent. It's greatly misunderstood and underappreciated.
That's about all the time we have for our visits to the parks in Flowood, Mississippi. If you'd like information about anything you've seen, contact us at mpbonline.org/Mississippi Roads, or join our Mississippi Public Broadcasting Facebook page. Till next time I walk racing, I'll be seeing you on Mississippi Roads.
Mississippi Roads is made possible in part by the generous support of viewers like you. Thank you.